What's happening? I think we're live right now. Yeah.
Whoa. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
And we're live.
Well, I saw no intro. I saw nothing.
Oh.
Absolutely nothing. Okay. And that's okay. It was meant to be that way, I guess. I got to watch you with your microphone muted doodle around there for a minute. Anyways, okay, here we go. Breathe. 3, 2, 1 into Michael John. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you. How's that, Dale? Wherever you are on the static planet, my name, of course, is Michael John of Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories. That is my co-host next to me there, the man of the hour, the man of the power, too sweet to be sour. He makes things happen, even when they're not supposed to happen or how they're supposed to happen. They don't always happen, but he's making them happen, and that's why I love this guy. Dale, high spirits, Quigley, getting her done, my man. All right, so we are here live tonight. Very excited to have this is another long-awaited guest. You know, we reach out to get individuals, and the way our schedule is, my work schedule, just, you know, life happens. It's not about me here, but the bottom line is this: life happens, and we do our best. Hello, Middletown Paranormal Investigations. Thank you for coming. Yes, live and in living color. Absolutely. Yes, I appreciate you very much for joining us tonight. You or however many there are of you over there at Middletown Paranormal. Much love for the support. We can't do this without all of you, so thank you. I lost my train of thought. Good God, imagine that. So, yeah, I mean, we got so much going on with trying to book people. We do our best to get people as soon as we can, and this is another long-awaited guest. I'm excited to have this young lady on with us tonight. It's going to be a hell of a show. Many topics. What's nice about the paranormal, Dale? It's A to Z. It's so many things. It's not just ghosties. It's not just cryptids, which are near and dear to me, of course. It's not just UFOs, aliens, abductions, interdimensionals. The list goes on and on. It's also about mediums, intuitives, enlightenment, connection from those who have passed on, whether it's friends, family, or pets, on and on. Dale and I will be doing a talk about that coming up in Thunder Bay in October, as well at the Chaos Con in June. But again, that's, I'm just kind of little nuggets of stuff there, or sprinkles. There it is.
Little sprinkles that are happening. Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. We are definitely, as I like to say, # blessed, thankful, grateful, humbled to be a part of what we're a part of and to get to do what we get to do. Dale, what's going on your end of the video screen here? Tell me what's going on with you. Tell me what's going on. Tell the fans out there, the TTV Nation, the creeps, the freaks, the weirdos, what's going on with the Paranormal Voice.
Well, first of all, for everybody who is probably watching this through a Facebook feed, unfortunately, right now, StreamYard and Facebook must be having an argument because we can't seem to stream onto our Facebook page. So if you are on Facebook right now and you're watching the show live, please head over to the Paranormal Voice YouTube channel. This way if you have a comment or a question or anything to do with our guests tonight, you'll be able to ask your questions over on our YouTube page. We're excited that YouTube is still working, so we get to do these amazing shows. Middletown Paranormal, welcome Shayla and Ronnie. We just had them on this past week. Two amazing couples, two amazing people who are definitely passionate about the paranormal for sure. Brian Newford, thank you for joining us. Yes, so anybody like
longtime friend Brian Newford of mine. We go way back. This guy's seen me at my best, not my worst, and I love that he's here supporting us tonight. Thank you, Brian. Sorry, Dale. Go.
Yeah, no, and so everybody, please head over to YouTube, check out and hit subscribe. bring up those numbers. We are so close to 500 subscribers. We would love to get to that 500 plateau. Yes, and coming up, we are heading into the month of May, which I'm so excited about. Get to head back up to the road to Virginia, hang out. Great event happening. Sage Paracon coming our way May
Yeah.
24th, 25th, and 26th, right there in King George, Virginia, at the Bell Grove Plantation with our good friend MJ Dixon. That is her event. And if you're still looking to purchase tickets, I think there might still be some tickets left. Just go over to sageparacon.co.uk. You can check out and buy your tickets and join us for that weekend. It is an amazing weekend. The location is superb. They got some amazing speakers coming out, so it is going to be another amazing event. So Sage Paracon coming your way, May 26th. Come on down, join us. It is. I had a lot of fun this year. Our guests that we have on today, that's exactly where I met this lovely lady. And I mean, she was up there, she was speaking, and she was just wowing everybody. And it was nice to get to sit down and actually spend some time and really talk to her. So I've been looking forward to this for quite a long time. So yeah, thank you for everybody who's joining us on Facebook or on YouTube. Our Facebook, we are going to try to get it up and running sooner than later.
Thanks,
but in the meantime, folks, you can catch us here on YouTube each and every episode, and over on KGRA Digital Media. Go on over there, find us in the podcast section, sign up. If you use the phrase Para Voice, you get 30% off your membership for joining them and supporting such an amazing place. They have amazing shows on there. You got the lovely Andrea Perrins on there, Mike Ricksector. You got Deb and RJ DeRoos, UFO Contact.
Yep.
So, like I said, a lot and many, many more. We could sit here for probably 2 hours and talk about all the amazing shows that they have over on KGRA Digital Media. But I want to get to our guest today.
Well, before we get to our guest, I got to say I learned something today, and I was talking backstage to this lovely young lady. I learned a word because of her, and I'm always learning words. If anybody knows me, you've been around me for a hot minute, at times I'm going to stop and go, hold on, big word. What does that mean? Not that I'm super illiterate. I got a clue about the English language. I would like to think I got a grasp on it. However, the bigger words start getting to 3, 4. Yeah, it's a 4-syllable word. 4-syllable words and above. It's a struggle. I'm going to ask you, what does that mean? So, altruistic refers to having or showing an unselfish concern for the welfare of others. It describes behavior or motives that prioritize the happiness and well-being of others over oneself. Again, the word is altruistic. And that's what brings us to our lovely guest. She is highly altruistic as well as intuitive. She's a spearheader, or she's spearheading, I should say, spearheading psychic medium, if you will. She's a light worker who's looking to enlighten, connect, and transform the lives of every single client she works with. That's definitely altruistic. That's definitely unselfish and a selfless act for sure. She's a strongly advocated evidential medium as well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are very proud to bring to you right now the very lovely, the one, the only Kim Sage.
Oh,
hi! Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes, no, absolutely. We've been me and Michael John have been talking about this for quite a while now, and I just want to say we had a couple more people jump in here. Judy Atkins and Jeanette S. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Okay, Kim. What we do is sometimes when people show up on the side, I know who the Little Rascals were, and they do this thing. So we do the Little Rascals high sign. So you got to do it with us. Little Rascals high sign. You're just gonna wave. There you go.
There we go.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello,
Carolyn.
So Kim, thank you so much. I had the pleasure of being able to sit down with you for an entire weekend last year. I believe it was back in September we met up in King George, Virginia at the Bell Grove Plantation at the Sage Paracon. It was, what an amazing weekend that was, a beautiful place. And most of all, came out of there knowing this wonderful lady and what she was up to. And I didn't really get to hear all of her presentation, but what I was able to hear, I'll tell you, I'm very excited about where she's going and what she's doing, and the work that she's out there doing is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Dale. That means a lot to me because that's why I'm in this, is to help others and to, if anything, plant the seed. So if something I teach resonates with them, they can take that and go with it.
So we're gonna kick this off and say, exactly when was it that you either had your first paranormal experience, or when did you know you were starting to develop these gifts that you have nowadays?
Uh, if I could think back, probably around 4 or 5. It's the earliest I can remember back. I remember waking up and just seeing somebody in my room, being scared to death, trying to get the nerve to make it to my parents' room to get into their bed. So my entire youth was filled with seeing spirit, not understanding it, but knowing that it scared me. It made me uncomfortable because I didn't understand.
Whatever you just did, I like that shot better. That's cool.
You like that one?
Yes.
All right,
So
we
Kim,
can do that.
Kim, I gotta ask. So you're saying get up the nerve. You just commented I had to get up the nerve to run to my parents' room. So was this individual in your way?
No, it just scared me because I didn't understand why I could see, but nobody else did, and nobody else mentioned anything about people coming in the house at night.
Right. So now, best you can. I mean, obviously, you're 4 years old. You're young, so it's hard to remember in detail. I'm sure emotions, actual feelings, the feeling in the room. Did you get all of that? You know, like that would be coinciding with seeing an entity or a being, or however it resonates for you, a spirit.
Yep. I'm sorry, you broke up.
Okay, no problem. So in the room at the time, I mean, however this resonates, when you saw the spirit, the being, or the entity, what was going on as far as a few things? Emotions. Did you notice temperature in the room? Did you notice an odd feeling in the air, if you will? All those things that coincide with, if you're out, you know, doing a little bit of paranormal investigating, ghost hunting, looking for the ghosties, you know, all that sort of stuff. Was there anything like that going on where you're like, hey, it was all that balled up, and it was like, that's what made it even more frightening, was the fact all that's going on, stuff you're clearly not used to at that age?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was the goosebumps on your arms, like the hair standing up on the back of your neck. It's just like you felt like something wasn't normal.
Yeah.
And even when we moved from that location, we moved to a new house that my family actually built, and I actually live in now. I bought my childhood home from my parents.
Right.
That even growing up into a teenager, I would experience all this, but it was just a time that you didn't talk about those things. So I grew up keeping it all in my head and coming up with like coping mechanisms, like sleeping with the TV on, or just hiding under my blanket until it went away.
So now, were your parents supportive of this, or did they immediately push it away on you?
Yeah, my mom, both of them are super supportive. My mom is actually intrigued and learning more and kind of like letting herself grow. My dad, he's supportive, but he's kind of like supportive from the sidelines. Not sure if he wants to really believe it or not, and that's okay.
That's great, because real quick, sorry, Dale, and I'll let you have the platform. A lot of people going through what you're going through, learning they have gifts or experiencing things right out of the gate, especially years ago, I find more when we've talked to how many people, Dale, there's no support. It's always the push away. Oh, you're seeing things. Oh, you ate something. You're not feeling well, whatever. It's suppressed. That's what I'm looking for. So how fortunate are you that your parents, even your father on the sidelines, they are supporting you. They're encouraging you, which 100% helped you develop the gifts you're blessed with to have now, for sure. But so many people don't get that, unfortunately. That's what I wanted to say, Dale. That was more important than, I guess, to cut you off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. And actually, Michael John, you took the question right out of my mouth. I was going to say, by today's standards, and the more people we do talk to, like this new generation of people that are coming up have it far better than it did when we were coming up, because yeah, it wasn't something we really had people we could really turn to and say, oh yeah, by the way, there was a shadow being in my bedroom, or oh yeah, by the way, I think Grandma Jean is about to call, the phone rings, and you're like, hello, hi. So yeah, I mean, because I think it would have freaked our parents out. I mean, I know nowadays, like my parents know, your parents know, Michael John's parents know what we do and what we saw when we were kids. So it's good that they do support you in a way that a lot of people don't get. So they kind of turn it off, and they kind of feel bad about even talking about it. Really.
Yeah, we're definitely in a. So I actually shut it down when I was about 20 because it scared me so much. I was spontaneously astral projecting.
Ooh.
I was seeing things that I could not explain. And thank God for MJ, because when one time we were together and I asked her questions about something I saw as a teenager, and she saw it too. And I was thinking, oh my God, somebody else, experiencing this. But I actually shut it down until I was 35, around there. I kind of picked up on things here and there between those years, but I truly did not want to see anything. I didn't know how to control it, and that was my big fear factor for me. And so when I at 35, I had a reading with a medium, and my grandmother on spirit told on me and said that she can do what you're doing. And it kind of went from there. I started doing classes and kind of honing my skill and learning boundaries and all that good stuff.
Astral projecting. Let's talk about that. That's
spontaneously.
Spontaneously, right. I think I've done it a few times, like dreaming or whatever, right? I don't know how to control it. It'll happen. Maybe I can count on one hand how many times it's happened in my life. But can you tune into that? Are you able to tune into that now? If you want to go astral project, you want to go, I mean, it's an out of body experience. I mix the two up, but they're so similar. Even remote viewing, I find all three are similar but different. If that even makes sense, everybody listening and yourself, Kim. What do you think of the three of those? I mean, are those three things you do as well on top of the astral projecting? You do the out of body as well as remote viewing?
I do the remote viewing. I would like to learn more about astral projecting, because I still have a fear about it, because I don't know how I do it, or I don't have control over it. So I want to learn more about that and kind of conquer my fear. But I feel like it's all very similar. It's all kind of projecting your energy out.
Okay.
So yeah, no, astral projecting and remote viewing, like I said, we've been very fascinated with the whole remote viewing things. It's something that I keep trying to learn. I mean, a lot of people that we know very well can do it, and it's just like one of the. It's just, I guess, with me, it's just learning how to really truly focus in and being able to do it. Uh, my one question that I was going to ask earlier, and it totally slipped my mind until just a few seconds ago when you said that your grandmother ratted you out. So, so going back, so I would believe that your mother does not have any gifts. Where would you think that your gifts came from? Do you think it was something that you inherited from a family member, or is this just something that, like me, like I know I'm the only one in my family that I know of that nobody's ever even told me before, but I have my abilities and nobody else in my family has ever had them.
Right. So after I started coming out with, learning these kind of things, my mom started talking to me about her line. So her line, she comes from West Virginia. So my ancestors on her side are from Appalachia. And it would have been her great grandmother. So my great great grandmother was known as a healer. She went by Old Ma, and her son was actually known as a healer as well. So people would go to them to be healed. And I wish I would have been able to like talk to them and get to know them. But, you know, I have so much, I feel like a mutt as far as my ancestry. I have so many different ancestry in me, from Native American to Irish to German. I mean, all kinds of stuff. So I feel like that helps as far as like being able to do different healing modalities. But at the end of the day, I honestly feel like we all have this capability. It's just learning how you can work with it and how you can hone into your own skills. But I honestly believe that we all have the ability to do what I do, or at least be able to go within.
You mentioned the word healing, your family. So your grandmother.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
Well, Kim's froze up.
All I
on
heard
us
was
now.
healing.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're okay. So your grandmother, and who was with your the gentleman with your grandmother was who?
It was her son.
Her son. Okay. Now you mentioned the word healer. What does that define healer in that respect, if you could, please?
So interesting enough, I don't know. I don't know if it was, I heard like hands-on healing. So whether that be like putting their hands on them to heal like pains or ailments, or was she into like making salves and tinctures, you know, with the herbs and stuff around? I don't know, because there's no records.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I heard the word healer. Sorry.
Yeah, and especially there, especially in those, you know, a lot of that stuff was kept on the down low. So there's no records, or there's nothing written. And I wish I could, you know, talk to her. But you know, I've never talked to anybody that's been able to pull her through. So
Okay.
but that's pretty far back there. That's, you know, we're talking great grandmother. So
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
So the area where you're from, right there, you're right in Virginia, or are you in West Virginia?
I'm in Virginia. So I'm in Central Virginia,
So
just
the
north of
area.
Richmond.
Oh, okay. Now I have an idea, because that's where the ghost shop is in Richmond, Virginia. I'm learning geographically what is where. So what in the area where you are at, like what would be like the history of the area you are at?
I didn't hear you, Dale.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, no, I was just asking, like the area you are living in, what is the historical value? Like what is around you that would be considered interesting and haunted, or places where you can use your gifts?
Oh gosh, the Civil War was predominant in Virginia and where I live, even the land I live on. So we have a lot of Native American influences as well in our area. So between the local battlefields, or just the land in general, there's a lot of locations that we can go to, and it may not be the building, but it's the land. And Virginia is really heavy in history, so there's a lot of layers, energetic layers that go on in areas. So there's no telling what we could pick up on. But I have learned, I've done a lot of my practice actually at Belle Grove. Belle Grove Plantation has really helped me get out of my comfort zone and exploring how to communicate with spirit and paranormal, because that's way different than how I read. It's definitely a learning curve for me.
Belle Grove Plantation. You've been there quite a bit by the sounds of it. We always ask, what's the creepiest, freakiest, weirdest experience you've had? So let's talk about
what'd you say was the creepiest thing that happened to me?
At Belle Grove.
At Belle Grove?
Yeah.
I tell you the one thing that scared me very shortly. I cleaned there for a little bit, and down in the basement is where we do the laundry and all. And I was down there by myself, and I came around the corner and see in the basement, there's two ghosts that are known down there. Miss Ava, she was the main cook at the time. She was the main cook at the time down in the winter kitchen, which was the basement. And then her son is named Nathaniel. And Nathaniel is huge. He would fill, his energy is a gentle giant, but he would fill a doorway. So if you ran into him, like, he would startle you. So one night I was down, one day I was down there doing laundry, and I come around the corner to leave, and he's standing right there, like full blown apparition. Like, it's like I ran into him, and I stepped back, and I was like, I played it off because I didn't want him to know I was scared. So I was like, oh my God, Nathaniel, what are you doing? Like, it's like, don't do that to me. And he hasn't done it since. But he's kind of like a protector of the land too, and he'll do that to anybody new that works there or is there a lot. He'll kind of like make himself known that he's there, but at the end of the day, he's truly a gentle giant energy. But it really set me back, and it always sets me back when I see spirit like that, because I'm used to seeing them in my head, right? So when I see them with my eyes, it's like, whoa, where'd you come from?
No, you know what? Yeah, I guess being someplace and then all of a sudden you turn around and there's just somebody standing there. I think that would freak out just about anybody. Um, but the Bell Grove plantation, I found such an interesting location. Like when we spent the weekend there last year, like I said, it was, I don't think it was like nonstop activity. Anytime you walked into that house, you always heard something and something was happening. It's got a lot of energy to that place, and it's so
Yeah.
unique. But it's not a scary kind of energy. It's like it kind of feels like you walk in, you kind of feel home to it.
Yes. And so so Michelle's been there since, I believe, 2013. And I've been going there since 2017. And since then, and along with not only myself, but many others, we've instilled a lot of love into the property because we know it's a plantation. A lot of things happen there that were not okay. So we try to give it a lot of respect and a lot of love. And she's even had the past 2 years, the Rappahannock Native American tribe that used to be, part of their land and where they live. They've actually done their powwows there. So I feel like that's helped, bring love and blessing to the land too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just a quick note here. Cindy or Candy Soul says she has learned a lot from Kim. You were a really great teacher, and there's no doubt about that. Watching you talk and how you present your presentations, it was like, wow, you must have been a teacher in your former life because the way you
Oh my
present,
God.
it's comes across so easy and it's so like easy to learn from you. So that's great. Just want to give a
Thank
shout out to
you.
our boy Richie B. Richie, thank you for joining
Richie
us,
B.
buddy. And Janet S wants to know, do you have a YouTube channel?
No, I don't, not yet. I'm trying to learn all of this social media. It can be overwhelming. I get so overwhelmed with it all.
Oh,
It really is. Yeah, it really
trust
is.
us, it's we are now going, June will be our 3 years that we've been doing this show. We've been very blessed to be doing it for 3 years. And I think me and Michael John have learned a lot about how it goes into producing and putting content out there, which in a way it's satisfying. It's great because you can reach a lot of people while you're doing that. So uh, I hope you do get a YouTube channel. I know you do. So we're going to talk about this real quick right now. You do have a show on Facebook. It's called Sage Advice with Kim.
Hmm.
You actually will take people's you'll give people like short little readings or cards. If you can explain
Yeah.
what the show's about, how you do it.
Yeah. So it's mini intuitive readings, which is something I don't ever do. I mainly predominantly do private medium readings or evidential based medium readings. So as far as like card reading, I don't do it a lot. So I was thinking, what could I do to free and help others, and also what it helps me too, practice psychism. So I'll at the beginning of the night, I'll take 6 or 7 people, pull a card, and really the card validates what has already been downloaded in my head. So a lot of times when I pull the card, it's validation for what I felt like I needed to tell them anyway. And honestly, it's a lot of times I'm validating what they already know. They already know it. I'm just validating it for them. So but it's a fun time. I enjoy it. I try to do it every Thursday, but I'm getting ready to travel a lot and life is getting really busy. So I'm doing it as I can, but I always put events out, like event pages on Facebook when I'm able to do it. As long as Facebook is behaving and doesn't boot me out.
What's interesting, Kim, to me, going back to something you said when you saw that, I can't remember the name of the ghost you saw, the massive man that fit in the doorway.
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel at Belgrove. Sorry, Nathaniel, if you're listening. You said it was out of the ordinary for you to see an apparition, because normally when you're doing readings or whatever you're doing, in your moment, if you will, you see it in your head. Can you describe, I love that you mentioned that, because it gives me a great question to ask. What's going on with Kim Sage as she's doing a reading for someone and she's seeing someone's spirit or a family member, loved one, etc.?
Right. Yeah. Well, I tell people before I start the readings, I always explain how I work. And I tell them that it's like playing charades with spirit. I never know how they're going to come across to me, whether I'm just having direct downloads. So that claircognizance where I just instantly know. I just know things and I don't know how I know them, which is the hardest to trust, by the way. Or the clairvoyance where in my peripheral, they're flashing images at me. So, sometimes I'll get an image flashed at me. Sometimes I taste things. So I'll have a taste in my mouth, or I'll feel things. So if somebody, how they passed away, sometimes they'll make me feel certain indicators in my body to correlate with health issues they might have had, or how they might have passed away. So I don't ever see them like with my real eyes during readings. And so that's why, like with the paranormal, when I see things with my eyes, my physical eyes, it's like, oh my gosh. Like at St. Albans Sanitarium in where is it? South of it's Radford, Virginia. I saw my first crawler. I don't even know what it is. It was, but you know what? We just passed each other. Like it went this way, I went this way, and I was like, wow. I'm not going to acknowledge it until I leave the room because I don't quite understand what that is.
Yeah. So what is that?
I don't know. For me, it feels like, so St. Albans Sanitarium is an asylum. It was also, it started off as a boys' home per se. So I mean, I want to say there was like a lot of hazing and not nice things that went on there. And then insane asylum where, things were done that weren't okay either. So there was a lot of heavy stuff. And not only that, before that, the Native Americans there kind of retaliated and murdered a bunch of people too. So there's a lot going on in that land. So I don't know. It's been something that I've wanted to dive into and learn. Like these are the things with the paranormal that I want to learn more. So when I come across it, I know what it is. But so I don't know, is that a combination of all the gunk, like all the energetic heavy stuff? Does that manifest one of these things?
Good word.
that paranormal gunk. I think we just coined a new phrase, but I love that is awesome though. We really don't know what a lot of energy, spirits, what makes them up besides energy, because we all know that spirits are basically energy, that we are made up of energy. So when we pass our energy, you can't kill energy. It just goes on, right? It goes on forever. Before we get too further here, Richie B had a question for you. Can you tell if someone has the gift by talking to them or being near them? If so, can you tell what level they are at?
No. Easy answer, no, because this is the reason. I choose to work with boundaries. So I don't walk around on per se. Like I may pick up on certain things, but unless I'm truly and this is why, because it scared me so much as a kid and I couldn't control it. So now I walk around with like boundaries. If I'm not working I'm not setting that intention to pick up on things spiritually. But if I'm doing a reading with you, then yeah, I can see if you have gifts. But for the most part, like people ask me that, or if they know, if for some reason, if it comes up in conversation when I'm out in public, and then they're like, "Oh, well, who's with me now?" I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not working. So I don't do that. I have morals and ethics when it comes to working. So I, when I'm working, I'm working. When I'm not, I'm not.
Right.
Fair enough.
Lois Clark has spotted. She says she was spot on in describing my time after losing my husband. She was spot on with his character. I cried for hours. Kim then mentioned me through her grief to gratitude classes.
Gratitude.
I, I I I'm not sure what she means there. Like, is she just grateful that you were able to connect with her and give her the messages that she wanted or needed?
Yeah, I feel like that's what Lois is talking about. Her husband passed away. So a lot of times my readings for the first time with a client, it's a big healing um, reading. And after that, she obviously was grieving really bad because she went through multiple losses actually in a short amount of time. But I'm certified in grief coaching. So I have a grief to gratitude program, and she did that with me.
That is very interesting in itself. I mean, we've talked about it here in the paranormal world. Like when you're helping people with a case, they might have had something happen to them in their house. As paranormal investigators, we go in, we kind of clear it out, we kind of do what we have to do to make sure that they feel safe and stuff like that. But then we always talk about the aftercare of those clients because when you walk out that door, it's not necessarily that their lives go back to a normal. It's a new normal
Yeah.
because now they're still living with what they went through. And a good friend of ours, Mary Bassett, deals with people that have dealt with PTSD through paranormal experiences and UFO experiences as well. But so the aftercare, it is so amazing that you are able to offer that as part of your session with the people, that the reading's done, you just don't move on. You make sure that they're obviously taken care of and have questions, because we always have more questions after a reading than we do before a reading. Yeah, we go in, obviously, I don't know how it is you do it, if you wanna explain that to us, but, like, when I've had a reading done, I have things in my mind that I wanna know, or just to clarify something I already know, but I wanna make sure that I'm on the right path with it.
Yeah. So when I do readings, I always ask the people in the beginning, do they have specific questions, or do they want to just see how it goes? The majority of the time, they just want to see how it goes, and then they come in with questions during it. So I
Right.
always feel like they kind of, and a lot of times, I predominantly do readings for people that have never had readings before. So that's really cool in itself because I feel honored that they've trusted me to connect with their loved ones.
And it is a form of trust, right? I know for myself, even, and I've brought this up on occasion with individuals here or there, whatever the situation. Uh, for me, the individual really has to resonate with me to
Hmm.
go to them and put my trust in them to sit down, because you're vulnerable, even with that
Yes.
individual, as well as you, the reader, being vulnerable,
Hmm.
right? It's
Yeah.
a it's a hand in hand, it goes hand
Yeah.
in hand there for sure. So
Yeah.
it's a big thing to sit down with someone and do that. So yeah, definitely a big moment, a big pivotal moment in someone's life to decide who their reader is going to be. My opinion.
So, if anybody who's watching this show today and down the road, or through KGRA digital media, however they're going to watch this show, if they wanted to reach out to you to do a reading, how would they go about doing that?
The easiest would be my website. It's www.kimsage.info. Somebody already took my name, so for .com, so I had to do .info.
Yeah, I was looking at that when I was doing up the show, and I was like, .info. I'm like,
Yeah,
I've heard of .com, .ca,
yeah. Somebody's taken it, and I can buy it, but I refuse to pay like $1,000 for my website name. I'm not doing it.
Right.
Yeah, it's your name. Why should you have to pay for your name?
It's just ridiculous.
Because it is not. I mean, because I know when I first met you, and I'm like, is that a stage name or is that her real name? Is
That's my
like,
real
I
name.
mean, I know a lot of people just like, interesting. You're psychic, you sage. Sage is big in the metaphysical world for different purposes. So I'm like, that is, I mean, it's a name that you cannot forget because
It's a
it's not a
bonus.
name that you hear a lot of.
Yeah, it was a bonus marrying my husband. So I give him the credit. He's the one with the sage name.
So yeah, I
Good.
will marry you because your last name is cool. That's it. That's all it is, honey. I'm sorry. I love you, but yeah, no, you just got a cooler last name.
Yeah.
Kim, let me ask you this. I mean, with all of your gifts and doing the paranormal investigating, I mean, that's a recipe for followers. It's a recipe for attachments. You know, I have a couple friends here where I live. On occasion, they show up, not all the time. You must have somebody, at least somebody, maybe even animals follow you. I don't know. Do you have any residents at your house that aren't they're living rent free, if you will?
Oh yeah. So I'm living in my childhood home, right? So it was always very active when I was small. But now that I'm an adult, we have an agreement. So free range, don't bother me at night. Don't come into our bedrooms, none of our bedrooms.
Yes.
So I big on boundaries in the bedroom. I like to sleep. And they really don't bother me. Now, when I had surgery back in September, it was a major surgery, and I couldn't walk, so I couldn't go upstairs to my bedroom. So I had to sleep downstairs in the living room. And being on narcotics, I was extra open because for whatever reason, that extra opens you. So yeah, I would be going to sleep and I could hear them walking around. I could hear them going up and down the stairs, going in the kitchen. I could feel them standing next to me, but I just dealt with it and just closed my eyes and went to sleep because I didn't want to fuss at them because we had an agreement. Like, I'm not in my bedroom, so who am I to say something?
Right. How many would you say you have there? If you could, do you have a count on the amount?
I feel a lot that comes and goes. Sometimes I feel kids. I actually pick up on a lot of kids, and I don't know if that's because I'm a mom, but like at Belle Grove, for the past couple of years, I actually pull in more kids and talk to them than adult spirits. So at home, I always have family members I can feel that come and go. But I don't know. I can't give you an exact number. They just come and go. And I don't really tap in because I don't want that relationship in my house. I don't even like using my paranormal equipment in my house.
I want to ask you this question in relation to myself, and I'm not even suggesting I have gifts because I don't believe I do. But on occasion, I've ran this by Dale multiple times. I'm a believer of this. Spirit will reach out to you, whether it's in a song or in a thought. All of a sudden, I can think about a dog that's passed away or a relative, just an odd, wow, they're in my head, like someone way out there that I wouldn't think of. I believe it's them here right now saying, hey, is that fair to say? Or
Absolutely. I actually tell that people when I teach classes. I tell them, when you see something, like say you see a cardinal or you see something and you have a flash of a loved one in your head, I feel that's most definitely them saying hi, and to honor that. And you mentioning a dog as well. Animals show up in my readings all the time, to show me that they are where we are when we cross over. So yeah, and I actually have a childhood dog that shows up in my meditations, and my dog just passed away last week, and
sorry.
yeah, thank you. He was 13, but I knew it was coming because I was seeing him in my meditation, so I knew he had that 1 foot in spirit and that 1 foot here. So I would talk to him during meditations and tell him, like, look, buddy, I'm okay. Like, mommy's okay for you to cross over when you're ready. But he didn't want to let go. So, but I see him in my meditations now with my childhood dog. So it's kind of cool. And you can see your loved ones, you can see your family and loved ones through meditation as well. And that's even if you don't feel like you're a medium, you can most certainly do that.
Okay. Thank you.
I just want to touch a little bit back on when you were talking about boundaries. Now, people have this issue quite a bit. Like they live in a place, they're okay with who's ever in their house from the other side, but they don't know how to set boundaries. Could you maybe explain that to them so this way here, maybe then they can get a peaceful night's sleep, that people are not running out of their
Yeah.
bedrooms as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So even if you don't see anybody, hear anybody, just talk out loud. I actually like to work with Archangel Michael and ask for his protection. And I'll just say it out loud. You know, I'll take sage or whatever herb you want to cleanse with, and I'll go around my room and cleanse the energy in my room. But I'll also set the intentions, because intentions are everything when you work with spirit. They're huge. So I always set the intentions of just saying exactly what I want to happen, for them not to bother me when I sleep. Now, sometimes they do, and I don't acknowledge them. but it's almost like, okay, well, that boundary may have worn off and I got to do it again. So yeah, I do that. I set intentions. I use sage a lot to just clear the energy in my house in general, because energy becomes stagnant and you need to dissipate all that. But Archangel Michael's my go-to angel for protection. And
it's interesting you mentioned. It's interesting you mentioned Archangel Michael. So I personally, I'm not a God person. Like, I mean, I got my own beliefs. I believe there's beings and all that sort of stuff. But recently, on the last year and a half, I guess, in that range, I met a gentleman who I believe is a starseed. So he's done some stuff for me. We're instantly best friends. We have like 3-4 hour conversations on the phone. It's crazy, right? And just what a resonation. Yes. So the first time I'm speaking to him, I was going through some things. He's like, well, I want to do a love prayer over the phone for you. Do you mind? I was like, yeah, go ahead. His name's Mark Herzog, if he's listening right now. Anyway, one thing that really interested me was my cats came and laid next to me as he's doing this. And that told me a lot right there. That's all I really needed to know. After a few minutes in, they came and joined us. But he was saying Archangel Michael. And I was like, because I felt like $1 million after the fact. So I've started to incorporate Archangel Michael in the little things I dabble in here, if you will. And so much power in that name if you believe in it. And again, and I agree wholeheartedly, intention is everything.
Yeah. And look, I didn't grow up religious at all. We didn't go to church. I only went to church when I went to with my best friend at the time growing up. And we don't have to get into that whole talk, but with religion, but right. I never felt worthy per se to work with angels because I didn't go to church. So I didn't feel okay to talk to them. And he showed up in a meditation and he was like, what, that's why we're here. It doesn't matter. Like, we're here to be of service. Right. And ever since then, I don't feel bad for calling on him and asking for help.
He's amazing.
Yep.
And he shows up.
Yeah. You know, and we have talked about this on countless shows. Yes, intention is everything in the paranormal world. How you put things out there and what you want to happen, as long as it's of the best of intentions, it'll happen and it'll work with us. We have a question for you here from Middletown Paranormal, Shayla and Ronnie. It says, Kim, what is your pre-investigation ritual and meal, and anything special you do to prepare yourself for that night?
For the night, yeah. So food wise, it's whatever we stop at before we get to the place. But energetically, again, intentions. So I always like to do a meditation and ground myself. But also I set the intentions before I walk in. So I talk with my guides on some of the on some investigations that I'm a little leery of, I actually have a code word with my guides. So if I hear the code word from them, I know just to leave, because I don't want to put myself in a situation energetically that's going to make them do something. I just don't want to do that. So if they give me a word that I need to leave, like this isn't a very good, safe place for me energetically, then I'll leave. But I also set the intentions with spirit. Well, for one, I set the intentions to only pick up on spirit that's connected with that property and land. Because a lot of investigations, you have other people there, or if it's a public investigation, you have people there who bring their family, their family on spirit. So I always set the intention to only connect with those with that building and land. I also set the intention that they're not allowed to use my energy.
Okay.
Yeah. And just, kind of set the intention that I'm led to who needs for me to tell their story, or who on spirit needs to talk to me or needs help. And then afterwards, I cut cords. I cut cords energetically with Archangel Michael. Sometimes I use a spray, essential oil spray that's good for energy clearing, and I ground myself again.
Okay.
It is always good to practice something, in a way that you can go into an investigation and not feel like so overwhelmed when you leave with an attachment that'll attach itself to you or whatnot. It's always good to leave whatever place you're at. Say, no, this is your place. You cannot come home with me. I know I learned that the hard way of coming out of the Hinsdale house. I brought home an attachment that I did not want, but now,
Yeah.
but
It happens. We're learning. Like, we don't know. Like, I've learned all of this by trial and error. Like, that's my life, I swear.
And I think that's how probably about
Yeah.
90% of us learn stuff is by trial and error. Let's try something. If it doesn't work, well, we'll do something else different.
Yeah, because I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, go ahead. Say what you're going to say.
No, I was just saying I've come home from Belgrove and had dreams at home from the caretaker, Mr. Baldwin Lee, in my dreams at home. And they were not pleasant dreams. And I was like, no, sir, this is not okay. But he doesn't like me because I'm a woman and I don't listen to him. so we just kind of avoid ourselves. I don't even like to engage with him.
He's really old school.
So it happens.
So my question I was going to ask you is, now, have you ever been contacted by a spirited energy or a message for somebody, but they keep taunting you until you actually do something about it?
No.
Ooh.
No, I won't do it, because spirit keeps their personalities when they cross over. And I'm not doing that, because so here's my thing. I don't know what place that other person's in that they want the message to go to. So I don't feel comfortable delivering messages unless somebody reaches out to me for a reading, because then they're giving me permission to relay messages to them. So I will not call somebody and be like, your dad's here and he won't leave me alone. Like, no, I don't feel comfortable doing that.
So you've never had complete stranger spirits, if you will, come to you for someone you've never done a reading for? Nothing like that, then?
No. I've had a really cool experience, if I could share that quickly, that had to do with me. So I previously worked in a hospital as a patient care technician, and I really connected with a patient of mine. I won't mention names, but I really connected with her, and she ended up being discharged, and I hadn't, heard anything else. We don't, in the hospital, you don't hear anything else about your patients. Well, I was trying to go to sleep one night. I was almost asleep. It was that magic phase of like being awake and being asleep. And I started having memories of this patient in my head. Wow. And I started seeing her in my head in like memories. So I bounced out of bed. I sat up, grabbed my phone, and I literally Googled her name, obituary, Virginia, and it popped up. She was coming to me to tell me that she had crossed over. And I was sitting there going, I cannot make this shit up.
No kidding.
No,
Like
no.
it was so special to me because I really connected with her on a soul level per se.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for her to come and let me know that she had passed over, that was the most beautiful thing like I've experienced as a medium for myself.
That's pretty amazing to say the least. I mean, those aren't even strong enough words to describe that, which is
So
wow.
I've had experiences like that, but not sometimes I'll get a random name in my head. Like if I'm at home, so sometimes I'll start singing songs and a name will be in it. And sometimes I'm like, is that a neighbor's loved one? But I won't go like knocking on the doors asking.
Right.
So Kim, we are just about 5 minutes left, and I can't believe like how fast
Wow.
this hour was gone. So for anybody who would love to get in contact with you, come and see you at an event, this would be your opportunity to give everybody all the information on how they can get connected with Kim Sage.
Great. So my website, like I said, is www.kimsage.info. My Facebook page, which I'm more active on than anything else, is at K Sacred Sage. Events coming up. I will be at Sage Paracon. I'm doing a little talk on what it's like to be a medium at Belle Grove all the time. I'm also teaching a workshop, but I'll let MJ announce that. And then I'm going to be traveling a lot this summer. I'm going to be at Gettysburg Battlefield Dash in July. I'm going to be at Michigan Paracon in August at the end.
Yes.
And then I know, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. In October, actually in August, I'm flying to Lilydale as well to help out with paranormal investigations there. And then in October, I'll be at Mass Paracon. And
Nice.
so I know I'm missing a lot of stuff in between, but those are like the big events I'll be at.
That's awesome. I mean, I can't wait for you to be up at the MI Paracon. It is one of our favorite events. Me and Michael John call that the WrestleMania Paracons because
Yeah.
it is a 3-day fun event. I mean, those Brad and Tim and all the Youpers team guys, Steve, all those guys, they put on a well-rounded event, and
Yeah.
it is so much fun. We call it a family reunion because we just
Yeah.
go every year because that's where our family gets to hang out and we get to have a lot of fun on that. So
Yeah.
it's so we're looking forward to seeing that. That's exciting in itself. So yeah, anybody who's out there and would love to get a reading from Kim, reach out to her. She is absolutely amazing, and I look forward to seeing you next month up at the Sage Paracon in Virginia. It's an amazing event. So yeah, great times coming. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us here, taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on a Sunday night. So from that, I will let Michael John take it over. But Kim, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I truly appreciate y'all inviting me.
No, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, a show well worth the wait. And we've been really, really fortunate in a lot of episodes, a lot of interviews with great guests like yourself, Miss Kim. We sit under a learning tree, and this was a learning tree show tonight for us and everybody listening. So thank you. I mean, that's with the highest respect, of course. Your way, it was awesome. Thank you so much. We could easily do another hour, maybe two, and not skip a beat here. To all the creeps, the freaks, and the weirdos that make up the TPV Nation from day one to day now. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you all so much for the support, because we don't get to do what we get to do. That's great shows like this with Miss Kim Sage, events like the the MI Paracon, like the UFO Contact Convention, Chaos Con, Midwest Parafest, on and on it goes on. It's getting crazier for us, and I can't believe where we're at. I mean, the journey continues. Thank you so much to everyone for being a part of it all this time now. We will see you all on the other side, as I like to say. But in the meantime and in between time, happy hauntings.
Happy hauntings.